Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the LTA show. Happy 2022. I got a special guest, Dennis. Dennis, how are you, man?
I'm feeling good. Happy New Year. Good start.
Yeah, Happy New Year. So, what have you been up to? Because I know this is like your first time on the show. So, a lot of people will ask, who are you? So, before we get into that, how was your Christmas and how was your New Year's?
Christmas, it was blast. For me, I'm a teacher, and for me, I had that 2 weeks of vacation break, so I was able to use it and travel to Vegas. I went to Arizona, did lots of hiking. So I love hiking, so I want to check out some new hikes out there, visit national parks. I got to see the Grand Canyon, so which is awesome.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So I always said I want to go see the Grand Canyon, and then my friend there we drove, and it took us 3 hours, but we finally got to see it. So that was amazing. Vegas, just like sports betting, little gambling, just friends time, hanging out and stuff like that. But hopefully I think kind of schedule like probably another time to hang out in Vegas again.
Mhm.
But also just spending time with family and friends. Once I came back to the Bay Area, and also just got to see my friend got married. So that was awesome.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Did you take any photos in the Grand Canyon?
Oh, I took a lot of photos. Gotta get take the. I mean, the photos don't do it justice, but it's just like, for me, just I mean, one of my goals is to visit all the national parks, of course, but also, it's fun spending time with their friends, or, yeah, it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome you got to see it because a lot of people just see it like on a textbook or like, online. So seeing it in person, I bet it was better than what you expected.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we didn't get to hike it, like actually do the hike. It was like snowing a little bit, but um, it's good to just to see it in person. So,
hmm That's awesome. Awesome. So let's dive right into it. Dennis, for the record, is yeah, he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to crypto. And also I found out like last year recently that he got into Pokemon cards, probably even more than I did. And we've both just been talking a lot about Pokemon and crypto. Um, and especially with last year, Celebrations came out, which was like the 25th anniversary. I know we were both interested in that. I think you were more interested in the Ultra Premium collection because of what they had. I didn't really know too much about it. And then when I found out, it was a little too late getting into that one.
I mean, which topic should we start on, like the crypto or the Pokemon?
I'm down for whichever one
Uh,
because, both are really interesting to hear about from you.
Okay. Pokemon. I mean, let's start with Pokemon first. Like for me, I didn't expect it to blow up at 2020, because it's just like 2020 was a crazy year for everyone.
hmm
And I didn't expect the prices to like skyrocket on the premium I mean the Charizard cards or everything. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I need to get back into it. So I think for me, I'm a collector of a lot of stuff. So for me, kind of like I like to collect Pokemon cards, of course, comic books. I'm getting into. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I'm surprised because usually, for me, I like to collect art or art pieces. So I like to collect like Cause figurines, if you kind of know what's that. And collect these little art pieces from Murakami and Daniel Arsham. And for me, I just like, okay, maybe I need to look at Pokemon in a different way. Maybe it's like a art collectible kind of thing. Like people value a lot of things, right? So
That's true,
um
yeah.
so I kind of got into it. So my friend, I'm in a group, Discord group where people are botting like Pokemon cards or anything. And my friend just, keep writing up my card, and then somehow keep getting these Pokemon cards. So I was like, okay, maybe I could sell it or resell it or something like that for side money. But then, like overall, I kind of got into the hobby, or kind of like once you start getting into like the habit of getting stuff, you kind of want to dive into that kind of space. So
Mhm.
for me, I'm just like I'm curious. I kind of joined the Pokemon like card Discord community, and it's just like for me, it's a lot of information to take in, because it's just like there's so many different like booster boxes,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of catching up and stuff like that. So, but I think my passion kind of died down for it, and that space died down a little bit. But it's enemies. It's fun just to like usually I probably get like a box or something and just open it with friends. Because I think it's just like the opening with packs because of how Logan Paul like opening booster boxes and just getting excited. And then for me it's like it's whatever, but it's just like I want to be able to share that kind of joy with my friends
Mhm.
or friends or family, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get like any like sets, sealed sets, or like any like PSA cards or individual cards?
So I got the like I remember when I bought some like booster packs, but I kind of opened them. I got the like the Black Charizard one that was in
Champions
I,
Path?
yeah, it was in Champions Path, and I got that one, and I sent it to PSA, but I never got it back for yet. It's been maybe a year, so I'm still waiting for the grade for it. But I sent like a lot of cards over to PSA, so that's it's still in waiting to get graded and stuff like that. And then I kind of like bought some packs to open, but it wasn't like amazing. But like what's the latest one right now?
Right now it's Fusion Strike.
Oh, no, I mean the celebration pack. Sorry, I was thinking of celebration.
Oh, okay.
So I bought a couple of those, and then I have still one box left to open. But it's yeah, I probably gonna work on looking into what's popular. But other than that, it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, I mean, for Pokemon, it's just always a passion. So it's like a childhood thing. So a lot of nostalgia. But for me, I try to keep up with the trend and see how it goes. I think also I got into coin collecting, so that's
Wow, you're really getting like into different areas. Went from like
yeah.
card collecting to comic books to coin collecting. I respect all of that because it's definitely like it's very interesting because there's a lot of things you can like collect, and a lot of people have like a lot of interest in those sort of areas.
Like yeah, like for me, I think for coin collecting, I kind of dive in. Like I think just like thinking back at 2020 is just like, all right, I need to figure out how to save my investments from dying. So it's kind of like, all right, maybe I need to figure out. I was like, oh, I can see. Like I think like just thinking back at March 2020, I was selling a lot of stuff. So I was selling my shoes. Like I'm a big sneakerhead, so I like to collect sneakers too. But then just like, all right, it's not doing much for me. Like over the like maybe like if I had so many sneakers, this is I can't wear them all. So I'm just like, all right, kind of unload some of them. And then for me, I'm just like cutting down my collection, but probably like the ones I really, really want to keep. But then having like cash in hand, and then of course, I was just like, okay, coin collecting. I'm kind of like maybe silver and gold is like a perfect hedge, protecting your money and stuff like that. And it kind of, it does hold value, right? So that's why I kind of got into it a little bit.
Hmm.
And then that kind of got me to the Pokemon space again. So I was like, okay, it's blowing up, let's see if I can make some money from that. And also, just to learn from that kind of aspect. Cause then it's just like, okay, maybe like down the road, like, if I can have like, since I'm a teacher, gonna be or a teacher, and then I can kind of bond with my students and maybe kind of create um like a reward system with the Pokemon cards. So, there's nothing like I would like to like motivate my students with Pokemon cards. So that's why I got some of it as well. But yeah, ever since March 2020 kind of changed a lot of things. So
Hmm.
yeah. and also in terms of investment too. So
Wow, so you kind of like diversified a little bit and like, not putting everything into like sneakers. So you kind of just like gone into different sectors. Um, I don't, are you still like interested in keeping like continue to keep investing in like alternative investments? Or are you
uh,
gonna like stick to those what you have right now?
yeah, I think just like for me, like that's like when I first started, like I was really into sneakers because then my cousin got me into it, and of course you can wear it and look really like you know keep in with the trends, the fashion trends and stuff like that. And then, but then of course, you have value. Like the more you learn about it, the more you can make it as a business, right? So I
Hmm.
think I kind of was able to make it my own independent, like small business, I guess. And then for me, just to like, okay, I could like, of course, I want to be able to get sneakers, but also, kind of make some side money and just kind of compound your money as you go on, right? And then for me, I try to look at these things as more investable assets. So it's kind of like maybe like 5% on my portfolio, you know, but it's like a hobby that you're curious, right? And you want to learn and able to, it makes, kind of makes you money too. So it's kind of like, you know, down like it's not like you expect too much crazy returns, but at the same time it kind of is part of your hobby so that it brings you joy or something that you want to do and maybe potential down the line make into a business. And that's what I did with sneakers, but then the other things is more like collectibles and um but down the line, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term holding.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea though. Like even just like buying one card, that card can go up like tremendously. Like you can like 20 times that in a couple of years. Like there's possibilities. It's always interesting to see. Like I think with a lot of Pokemon investors or collectors, like before 2020, it was like there wasn't that many. And now like look at it now. There's just so many people now interested in it. Like card shops are like having a hard time trying to like meet with demand. Pokemon's trying to keep reprinting stuff. It's always
Hmm.
interesting to see like what's gonna happen with all the other collectibles. Like, is it gonna be as big as Pokemon?
Hmm. And that's what I was just thinking, like when I saw like YouTube, it's just like YouTube people use YouTube as like a form of media and just marketing themselves, right?
Hmm.
And for me, I'm just like, oh, this Jake guy, not Jake Paul, but this Jake guy and from Pokemon, like he's like a big Pokemon fanatic and
It, is
collector.
it is it a twice baked Jake?
Yes, I think that might be it. Yeah. So he has it's just like he's able to market himself, and that's like a form of passion and hobby that he's like marketing, and he's able to sell like half his collections by a house, which is awesome. And for me, like I think like one of my goals is just like not like cut down, but like focus on one sector instead of or one or two sectors instead of focusing on a lot of things because it's just kind of like it can be overwhelming and it's kind of like okay if you want to turn into like a business then you gotta pour like at least 100% effort, right, or more, that you want to market yourself and build like a small business. And but for me it's going to be probably mostly like sneakers and fashion because I like fashion a lot. And I think like those other sectors just like curiosity and hobby, joy,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, I'm surprised like how the internet is like always changing, and there's gonna be of course new social media platforms, and that's gonna way to market yourself like TikTok and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
um, it kind of makes me curious about the future, but it's in a more positive light, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the future, it's always interesting to see what's happening now because I mean, back in the day, you didn't have like self-driving cars. Now you got, virtual headsets on. Now you got like NFTs, you got crypto. It's interesting to see how it's definitely changed like couple years, maybe 10 years. It's interesting to see what it was like before. and then seeing what it could possibly lead to.
Yeah.
Any any thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, I mean, I always had the idea, like, I mean, just in the NFT space, it's like a wild west right there because it's like a very immature space. And for me, just thinking like for me, I'm just like very curious, like how did the NFT process start? If nobody knows what's NFTs, like it's called non-fungible tokens. So it's stored in this little space called the blockchain, right? So the blockchain, whatever you do, is pretty much permanent. So it's like the transactions is like recorded, and it's recorded in this little ledger device. I mean, ledger devices, you know, and then of course it's very public. So I think in terms of like NFTs, you know, you can see you can create your own address, and it's going to give you your own wallet, of course. And then your wallet is going to store these little NFTs where you could purchase or sell. And you know those little your address is going to be linked to your wallet, so people can see where you're buying and what you're selling. And I think the whole NFT um, space is just to create like a community and transparency, right? Because you want to be able to find where I can buy the most limited items, where there's going to be like pictures or music or whatever you try to make it, and that you show ownership, right? I think, of
Mhm.
course, a lot of people always think that like you can right click and save the picture and own an NFT,
Yeah.
right? That's like a, you know, because I mean, I think that's like people thinks, you know, you can do for NFTs, but you know, but it's more than that. You can expand it to like, I think the whole idea is about ownership. And I see like a lot of my photographer friends, and they want to be able to share what they made, and of course show that they're the original creators, right? And having that, having recorded into the blockchain shows that ownership. and and also you can be able to market yourself, right? Has a business that you're selling it into limited editions, of course, but also be able to figure out ways you could be creatively, you know, more like try to expand what's the ecosystem. So I know OpenSea is like having this big marketplace. It's like eBay, you know, you can bid, buy, or sell these
Mhm.
NFTs, but there's going to be like down the line, there's going to be different ecosystems where you can start exploring and figure out which NFTs you want to buy. And and of course it's cutting down the middleman, because the middleman, usually eBay takes a fee, and we buying stuff in eBay takes a fee, right? So
Mhm.
you take a certain percentage, maybe 67% of fees, right? And you're left with like, you know, 92%, right? But I think the whole like the concept about, you know, NFTs and the crypto space is that there's no middleman. There's going to be you and the other person. It's more peer-to-peer interaction, right? So you of course you want to get your money's worth, and the person want to get the item that they want, right? And it's just cutting down that middleman. It's just more peer-to-peer. And that's what I kind of like about the crypto space. You know, in general, there's so many different sectors involving in that space, and it's just like there's so much information to take, and it can be overwhelming. But the more you learn about it, the more curious you learn about the technology, and kind of gives, kind of like reminds me when the internet first started. I started, right? Because it was like dial up, and there's like DSL, and then you're just like, all right, I'm playing with this little pixelated game, but it looks really awesome back in the day. You
Yeah.
know, like Pokemon is like super pixelated. It's like, so that's what I think, you know, just like, and you kind of see the trend over time, like, okay, I'm like, um, you know, getting to the space. And right now the NFT is like kind of immature, but down the line, there's going to be always going to be evolving, right? And I think just like you learn about NFT spaces, it provides like different opportunities, and also just like I think the NFT space is based on community too, right? Which I like, kind of like, because there's so many different communities, and you could check out which community that you have a sense of belonging to.
Mhm.
And And then also they provide a lot of different features because you own like a certain NFT, it kind of gives you features to go like, certain, parties. Maybe they kind of give you like free money. Actually, you can airdrop like free tokens if you own a certain NFTs, or they're gonna expand and add so many features, and which kind of changing the the NFT space, and it's always evolving, and it's more incentivized like how other business does things, right? Because Adidas and Nike got into it, and there's gonna be more like Disney got into into the metaverse and stuff like that. So the space is always evolving. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to see how NFTs are used now, because at first it was like, oh, I can just, it's just a picture. Now there's more like leverage with, if you're like a company, you can offer that to your viewers or your customers, and you have like little packages. Like there's a bunch of projects right now where they're only focusing on what it looks like, but there are a few projects out there that will offer more than just that. Like it'll give you like you said, like access to a party, or maybe like a scheduled meeting with an exclusive group. Maybe you
Mm.
get to like interact with the people that only buy that NFT. Um, there's just one recently, I saw like a video. Um, it's from Gary Vee, and he did a partnership with the Flying Fish Club, and it's like a restaurant where they offer an NFT token, and if you have that, then you can actually go to that restaurant and you can have like a dining experience, but it's only to those holders. It's always interesting to see, because now you got Pepsi and Coke now into it. Like they did a giveaway on their Twitter. There's some other companies out there that are offering just NFTs because they want to get into it. And then they're still like gonna, figure out what they're gonna give to their customers, not just like that NFT, but maybe some more access. It's always nice because also for, photographers, like they get to showcase their work. And if you're like an artist, you can showcase that work and you get royalties too, which is always interesting because back in the day, like if you make a song, it's usually the record label that would get more of the percentage.
Mhm.
But now it's the artist itself is just getting like a passive income as long as they just put it out there. And it's really cool to see and rewarding to a lot of like creators out there. And I'm sure it's like encouraged a lot of people now to make art, to keep posting their photos, maybe make like a domain, or like, I don't know. I think there's one right now for NFTs where it's like just celebrity quotes or something like that. I
Mm.
don't know what it was, but yeah. And then you got like football now going into it soon. You got baseball. You got NBA Top Shots now
Mhm.
in there. It's just it's slowly, getting a lot of attention.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what I kind of noticed. Like, I actually like the first thing that got me into it is like the NBA Top Shots. It's because that's just like, oh, I'm curious. It's just like you can buy it like for like $5 or something, just opening a pack. And I think like for me, I was actually late in that run because it's just like for me, I actually knew about CryptoPunks at 2017, but
Wow.
yeah, like I really didn't know what the concept was because it wasn't like very like explained well, and there was very uncertainty, and of course, for me, I'm just like, okay, it's 2017 was a different year because everyone just like pumping and dumping cryptos and here and there, but then it's like I think for me, I kind of saw the potential, but I never knew or understood what's the NFT space going to be like, right? Until the CryptoPunks kind of blew up, of course, and
Mhm.
then people are doing more creative ways with the CryptoPunks and with of course the NBA Top Shots, and that's I think once I kind of bought the NBA Top Shots, it kind of helped me learn about the NFT space. Like it kind of became a gateway so into the space. And then but then of course I missed that CryptoPunk run.
Biggest regret.
Yeah, because I could have bought like two or three and just hold on to it. But but I wasn't really interested into that space. Like, and I think NFTs like my sector to be interested in, because it's just like I like art, but at the same time, it's a lot of things to keep up with, right? And I think I was just thinking back, like even then, even if I bought one or two, I still wouldn't. Um, it would take a while for me to actually grasp the NFT space, right? And because there's a lot of different ecosystems that uses it, like Ethereum is like the biggest one, and every time you want to like mint an NFT, you have to pay gas fees, and which costs a lot of money. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, and then I mean, for me, like I'm curious to try it out what it was, like I got into some NFTs, like you had to just like mint it. So like just creating the NFT, like it's like opening a booster pack, right? From Pokemon. Then you have to mint it, so you have to pay the gas fees. And sometimes you get into these over like hype project NFTs, then you have to pay additional gas fees just to make sure that your transaction won't fail. Because it's I mean, for me, just to actually practice and actually go into the transaction and trying to see how's the process like, kind of makes me curious. Like, oh, this is how I would buy an NFT, right? And then, of course, you're gonna make money or lose money. So I just like, but I think for me, it's just like I'm curious about learning about it. I'm not gonna disregard it, right? I think everyone should at least have the experience of trying to get to, actually play with it. I think from why I encourage like younger crypto investors, is just like you have to play with the ecosystem so that you kind of learn of how the crypto space is like, and it kind of helps you grow with your knowledge. And of course, NFT is if it's NFT, you like NFTs, and of course, you kind of dive into it, just learning how to mint it or how to be in a community where you can make sure which one's legit, of course, but you find that
Mhm.
supportive community, and everybody in those communities, like the legit ones, more like supportive. And that was I was actually honestly, I actually like that kind of aspect of being a Discord community about the NFTs and learning and sharing knowledge, and that everyone's like from different backgrounds and different parts of the world, right? But you guys kind of share like common interests.
Yeah, it's I've been in like a couple um NFT Discord groups. I've keep close track of like VeeFriends. Um, that one's interesting. Their community is really positive over there. Like there definitely is like a supportive staff. They're always messaging each other. I see a lot of messages, just people just welcoming other people that join, and like people that have like the same NFT. They just like connect. They're like getting to know that person more than just a buyer. Uh, and like it's nice to have like that Discord community because they're always like giving out announcements, letting their viewers and like community members know first. So like it's still keeping that like sense of community, but also showing that they appreciate it by giving them like exclusive info before it's like released to public. Um, I don't know. It's just like a nice start to everything. Obviously, there is some scams out there, so you want to be cautious, especially since NFTs are so new and a lot of people are just getting into crypto. So like just be careful of like what you click, and it's always nice to have some knowledge and do your research before you actually go into something.
Mhm. Yeah, and I know that like OpenSea is like a really popular marketplaces, like that they had the little blue check mark, I guess, when it was like like the legit project and stuff like that. So, um, but I think like for yeah, it's a good starting place, and also just like for me, I'm always on Twitter a lot, so it's kind of like okay, I'm always seeing what kind of information's out there, and just following the right people, of course. um and I think for me, I try not to watch as much YouTube as I can, because it's just like sometimes there's a lot of influencers that's just like spreading like information, just like getting to buy your getting to get you to buy their NFTs and stuff like that. But I think it's just like you have to just be cautious, because it's just like I said, it's just like an immature space, right? People are just doing a quick flip. um left and right, and sometimes um, and sometimes I think for me time is valuable, right? So there's a I think for me I'm curious about the space, of course, but at the same time I don't have the time to devote all my energy to NFTs, but it's something I'm always going to be curious about. And um but there's just to be cautious into the space, of course. And like because it's based on the Ethereum ecosystem, and this is like a big ecosystem where people can transact and use it, as a form of money. If people don't know about Ethereum, then it's like it's a big ecosystem where that you can use it as a form of money, just transact and do lots of creative things. They use things called as like a smart contract. So think of like like a paper contract. You have to sign your signature and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So a smart contract is more like virtual, or um, you can create certain rules, and then it relies on both parties to sign it so that you can implement some kind of a payment plan, or some kind of more like on more like spreading information and creating stuff. So that's how I think the NFT space are made.
Mhm.
But yeah, but there's a lot of different new ecosystems now where there, I'll call it layer one ecosystems, where there's coins or crypto coins that's competing against Ethereum. So there's ones like Tezos, Cardano, what else out there? Luna, that's a popular one. Avalanche, Phantom, they're all competing against Ethereum because Ethereum's has gotten really big, and it's just like part of the is encompassing like all these different coins, because a lot of different coins are made under Ethereum, right?
Mhm.
So there's like the big two. So Bitcoin's like the original one, and Ethereum's like the second biggest um, altcoins. And I think Ethereum kind of gave birth to all these other coins. So and these newer coins are competing to take up Ethereum's market share, of course, and just since Ethereum costs a lot of money for fees to transact, that these
Mhm.
newer ecosystems are trying to be more efficient with their transaction, so speeding up their transaction speed and less fees. And some of them are no fees at all. So that's why it's the NFT space is gonna keep growing, because there's gonna be more new NFT marketplaces that we can buy and sell and utilize.
Yeah, it's interesting because like Bitcoin and Ethereum were like, because of the two biggest currencies, a lot of other smaller ones are now trying to like adapt and trying to make theirs better. Um, it's always interesting to see what's going to be next, because I know a lot of people that like didn't really know about crypto. They only knew from the Bitcoin hype, and then what's it, Dogecoin hype, and then Shiba Inu. Those are like the three that a lot of people recognize because of like how much attention they got in
Mhm,
like that short amount of time too. A lot of people just like trying to make a quick buck into those sort of currencies.
mhm,
And it's it's interesting. Like it's good that like a lot of people are into like crypto, but at the same time, like it sometimes it just surprises me that like I have like friends that like spent they put in like a decent amount, like probably like more than $100 of like Shiba or Dogecoin, just trying to make a quick buck. And
mhm.
then, but then they don't really know like what crypto is, and the main purpose of like the whole coins. Like what was that reason? It's just like they're kind of like missing a point in there. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just I don't know. It's funny but interesting and sad at the same time.
I mean, I think like for me, like 2017, like I didn't even know what the heck Bitcoin does. And nobody like 20, I think during that year, 2017, so really I got it. And I was just like, what the heck is everything? What is crypto? And what the heck? Everything's like pumping and it's like freaking like I'm making money. Like, what the heck am I doing? Like nobody, like actually my first introduction was my friend. He was like shilling or persuading me to buy XRP. And I was like, what the heck is XRP? How you buy it? And then we just dive into the rabbit hole and we just bought XRP and it just like, wow, it made me like 10 to 20 grand. Okay, what the heck do I do? I just sell it and then or write it, or but you kind of experience that euphoria and greed and then I was just like, oh, what the heck? I can see it going to the moon or something. And then of course they got the 2018 crash and everything. And then of course a lot of my friends got out of it. It's like, okay, I was out on crypto was a scam or something like that. But I think like how I really got into it is just like, okay, it freaking crashed. Okay. I didn't invest it as much, I invested as much as afford to lose, right? But at the same time, it's like, okay, what is Bitcoin? I'm just being curious. I know about Bitcoin since 2012 or 13 because my friend told me about it, but it's just like, all right, maybe I should really take the time to dive into the Bitcoin, um, the thesis, right? Or what the creator, why did the creator make Bitcoin? And I think it's just like a lot of people value has now as like a digital gold. It's just like to go against inflation, right? Because out there, inflation is going rampant, and of course the banks is just like or not banks, but the government's printing out money and is a hedge against inflation. And there's only 21 million bitcoins around the world, and
Yeah.
and a lot of them is like 6-7 millions lost already or something like that. So in that set value or that set circulating supply, and then you kind of gauge like, okay, there's 4 or 5 billion people in the world. There's only 21 million, and 6 million's gone. So you have that kind of million left, and the value should go up over time, right? And I think it's just like I think whoever made it is like very is like a genius in a way. Like I don't think that person or group or he or she is here. Maybe I don't know. I'm not too sure what, but it's just like how that thought is just maybe it's like attack of how governments are being rampant and just printing out money and and I think it's just like for like I think for me, like personally for me and my family, we experienced that 2008 financial crisis, right? So it's like a lot of people are affected by that. And then of course um I think when I value Bitcoin, it's like an ownership, right? You can
Mhm.
put it on your uh what's that, offline wallet, your hardware wallet, that's what they call it now. So you can
Yep.
pour it, you can take it, take it, yeah, you have ownership of it, and then you can just move it anywhere around the world, and you can use it to transact and peer to peer. um, the value is going to increase because they have this Bitcoin has this halving process where it's cutting down the miners um, what's that, mining by half, and it's going to
Mhm.
get more difficult to mine. And I think like the value is going to keep increasing. And I think that was my mindset having like when I first started the space, right? I was just like, okay, if a crypto crash, I'm going to focus on one thing, accumulate as much Bitcoin as I want. And that was my main goal. Just like, okay, let's see how this space will go. And then of course there's Ethereum, so I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna accumulate Ethereum too. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, two safest choices, and I think those are revolutionary creations. So and it's very just is like disruptive technology, right? Because you're disrupting the banks, you're disrupting um, the new ecosystem, not like Visa, Mastercard, and you're just changing the whole how we use or view and use money in general, right? Um,
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting now because it's very appealing because of how many benefits crypto has. Like it's just decentralized. So, like you said, the government can't really be controlling everything in the crypto space and
mhm.
blockchain because it's like more community based. So, they can't really regulate it. It's decentralized. And then it's like inflation proof because, like you said in Bitcoin, there's only a certain amount. You can't reprint that, which is why the value of it is so high. Um, and you got like other banks noticing it. They got a lot of attention. I mean, you've got like Visa and MasterCard. I'm sure they're now offering, I've seen a few, they've offered like their own cards and like rewarding people with cryptocurrency because they know they're now slowly adapting to it because they notice people are now buying stuff with crypto. Um, I mean, you got like Venmo, PayPal, where you can just buy
Yeah.
crypto on their platform. I mean, pretty soon it's gonna be like Amazon, and I'm sure I've seen like a machine at Walmart one time where you can just buy crypto right there. So it's it's gonna be like no surprise when you go to like a grocery store and there's just gonna be those machines where you can just buy crypto right there. And it's gonna be like everywhere. And you'll probably see like in ATMs, like, do you want to buy crypto or something? It's gonna ask you that maybe. And maybe you can store crypto in the bank. I don't know. It's just interesting to see how these other financial institutions are now implementing it. Like they can't really put it aside now because of a lot of people are acknowledging it right now and a lot of people are using it. So, if they don't take advantage of the opportunity, then they're going to be left out. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like thinking back, like comparing these 2 years, like right now into 2017, it's just like it was like just a concept, right? And no one done as much. But then I didn't expect it to get it like to the political level. And it's just like, oh, now we have an ETF for big, for crypto, right? It's gonna be ETF for Ethereum. And it's just like, and I think right now, like from what I'm reading in the political space or the financial space too as well, like the banks are going to be storing it, and it's just like I think there is just going to be a really crazy times, because I think you're just going to pay from your phone now instead of using a card now. And it's and I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now. It's just like because I think because of the inflation too, there's like third world countries buying it and storing it and using it and using bonds to connect to it as well, like a Bitcoin bond or something like that. I'm just like, okay, I'm not too sure. Like there's a lot of uncertainties, right? It's just like how other countries going to use it. And for me, it's just like I think like down in the future, it's just like it's going to become countries going to compete and using it to build mining farms in the countries, trying to make sure like they're going to try to be ahead of the game, right? Trying to uplift their country and in terms of wealth. And let's see, like I mean, for me, I hope that US will be more like proactively like open to it, so that we can, like right now I see Texas have a lot of mining farms right now, which is growing. And of course China shut down all their mining farms already, so it's kind of give the US an edge. But I think there's a lot of, it's going to be a very um well, not like crazy times, but it's just like, let's see, I'm not like, I was very positive about it, just like every country is gonna compete and it's gonna be in terms of wealth. But I think my biggest fear is just like for normal individuals, like it's gonna be harder and harder to get as much as like if all these countries are buying it up, and like how the normal individuals gonna compete against that, right? And um I mean, that's why kind of like for me kind of guiding the younger generations is just like, okay, it's like the value. I mean, it's always it's important. I mean, I think for me, it's just like having like a small bet on the Bitcoin, like having a small portion on your portfolio. It's like it will help you in the long run, right? So you can't disregard that part. So that's why I kind of just like, maybe doesn't have to be like you don't need to own like a lot of Bitcoins, maybe like only like 0.01. That's what I recommend. So it's probably like a couple $100 and just put a small bet on it. But then try to accumulate as much as you can. But that's because I think the space is gonna go bigger. I think 2025 or 2026 is gonna be um the very like adoption stage. So it's gonna be like everyone's gonna be like knowing about it. It's gonna be fully adopted. Um, and and I'm like I think it's gonna carry a little special place in, just let's see like how. Now, I'm curious to see how this space gonna grow, in terms of Bitcoin. And it has this, it's like the creation of all the crypto space, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely interesting. Yeah, I would agree. Like for somebody that's young, I would say just get into it as early as possible because who knows how much supply there will be after this. Like, there's no guarantee that there'll be enough Bitcoin for a small investor, you never know. And yes, like we're not financial advisors, just for the record,
Yeah, yeah, not
but
financial.
it doesn't hurt putting in money that you're willing to like set and forget. Like, because I mean, if you put in like $10, who knows what that $10 will be in a couple of years. Like, just put it in there, like as much as you're willing to lose, and then just do some research. And if you really enjoy it, then just keep putting in a little bit of money, maybe like $1 a day or something. Like, but it's really up to that person. Are they willing to look into that future and bet on, crypto? Because it is a lot of belief right now, because a lot of
Mhm.
people still aren't sure about it, don't really know too much about it. But I mean, you can already see just things are moving whether you want to or not, and you don't even know about it. So it's like a lot of countries are now getting into it. Like the fact that they're getting into it shows that there is a lot of value into it. I don't know, just like I try to urge my friends too, like just put like $5. Like there's so many platforms out there where you can just put in $5 and you'll be still investing in it. Like you can brag that you've been an investor for Bitcoin, like it's nice to diversify a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I think one thing is just like I think the one thing that kind of works for me is just like, all right, I think so one of my friends showed me like how to use Luna, right? The ecosystem, right? And he's just like, all right, let me send you like $25 of Luna and teach you how to use it in a more like efficient manner. So he showed me like, oh, you can download Anchor protocol or something like that. And then you can just, he just showing me like how to create a wallet and open a wallet and he, sent it over and it kind of guiding through that process, right? And then once he kind of guide me through the whole process, because like, it kind of be less overwhelming and it's just like being more open to the ecosystem, and that kind of helped me open my eyes, or me and my other group of friends, just like, okay, if we kind of like play with it and kind of like kind of modeling it, then it's kind of help the other person more like curious about it, right? And because I was like, what the heck is Luna, I just like honestly, and he just explained the whole concept, like the UST, like that stable coin is like you can put your money in the stable coins and get like 60% interest, APY, and I'm just like, what? It's like I say this sounds too good to be true, but you gotta show it to me. And they kind of, I think it's just like important just to show like how to do it, and it kind of makes curious, right? It's just like you're educating them too, right? And um for me, like I'm trying to like show how my just showing how people how to do it, just like, okay, just like, okay, let me send you like here $5, let me show you how to do it, and then it can kind of helps them at least being curious, right?
Dude, pretty soon there's gonna be like how to buy crypto class or something. There's gonna be like a crypto currency class, There's gonna be like classes just helping everyone set up wallets just here, right on the spot, buying crypto. Today we're gonna buy Bitcoin. Here's how to do it. I feel like that's gonna be like eventually that new curriculum for a lot of people that are interested about crypto. Just talking about all the different types of coins, and I'm sure there's gonna be like professors or instructors or tutors just
Yeah.
explaining it to just a big audience and just helping them understand what's going on.
Like yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be teaching classes how to like programming language for crypto and stuff like that. So I was just like, uh, I mean, I mean, it starts out with developers, and developers are like a big foundation, and I mean, yeah, and I'm just like, okay, it's I don't know coding at all or anything, but you teach me how to like, but I mean, it's gonna be growing. So that's what like I'm very curious. Like, there's a lot of uncertainties right now, so it's just like, okay, let's see how it goes. And right now there's like a big like decentralized finance movement, and that's that. I mean, that was the space I was curious in. Like you can borrow, send, lend. You could stake it. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and that well, that got me very interested. And you know how to utilize it in different ways, which is very mind blowing.
Yeah, it's just like normal money. It's got like the same functionality. You can lend it, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's just a better version of money, like when you compare it. Um, I mean, like, in order for everybody to be into something, you have to take an interest. And to take an interest, you have to either figure it out from your friends or you just learn from it by your curiosity. And it's just like your willingness to be learning it and like, yeah, just your eagerness to learn will like help you do all sorts of stuff, even without just like being into crypto. Like if you're interested in, like shoe collecting, Pokemon card collecting, like it has to be your curiosity is what drives whatever you're interested in doing.
Mhm.
And just being like open to learn, take in all that information, and then kind of just make that decision based off what you learned, your own decision.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, like I think I read a quote, and it's just saying like, Pokemon is like the creation of NFTs. Like I just like that could be true because it's just kind of like starting that like you have your set of 151 and stuff like that, and then and of course Ash Ketchum is using a use a Pokemon Dex to record, and they kind of compare it to using exchange or something like that. So I was like, oh gosh, it's like these I mean I mean it's really interesting when people are being really creative, and then um but yeah, but I'm just yeah, I'm very curious how it's gonna be like in 5 to 10 years.
Like,
So
this might be a little too crazy, but I feel like, you know, going on to like Pokemon, like with that first game kind of sparking other ideas and other similar games, I feel like eventually like NFTs will have, because there's some games that are developing in the crypto space, but it'd be kind of interesting to see like, like the DSi, like the cartridge, game cartridge. Like
yeah.
it's just like that, but like you put it into like, I don't know, like a console and that connects to the crypto or something, like that's a way to play games. I don't know. It just like thinking of like what it'll be like maybe it'll be in stores or something
Mhm.
like here's what you can buy, and then you just go to the cashier and you buy your artwork or something. Like I don't know. It's just I know it's gonna be a lot more digital, but I feel like maybe there's a possibility where just you can see it in person and then be like, all right, I want to buy it online. Just go right there, something like that.
Yeah, because I think I just started playing this game called Crypto Raiders or something like that. So I was just
Mhm.
like using an NFT. You have to buy the NFT at OpenSea, and then you can transfer into their game wallet, and they can use that character that you bought to be. It's like a Final Fantasy 4 kind of like it's like you can use that character and you can level up and get rewards and stuff like that. But then your character can die. So if your character dies, then it's like a perma death. So it's just like for
Oh
me.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I can make money, but I could lose my if my character dies, it dies. So I mean, I mean, but I like the concept. It's like curious. It's just like, okay, you can use NFT to do that, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's kind of like a mix of Final Fantasy 4 and RuneScape or something like that. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
I mean, this is just like the beginning of the games. Like soon you'll have like big companies, maybe Pokemon or maybe like I don't know, like Madden. You have all those sports companies. Maybe they make their own NFT game. Maybe you buy the character on Top Shot and then you could put them into the game. It's
Oh,
th-
that's
th-
a good idea, actually.
that would be interesting. Maybe you can buy like a jersey and you can customize your character. Like just like any game, you can have that customization.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
just not as risky. don't want to lose everything when you die or something like that. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
just the beginning though.
yeah. I don't know. Like I always thought Rare Player One is gonna be like the metaverse, like how it's gonna look like. But I think it's I actually like. I mean, lately I've been thinking like the metaverse. It's it's not probably like tailored to gaming as I thought it would be. Like the metaverse, I feel like, I mean, if you're into like the crypto space for so long, like for me, like I told a group of my friends, like I thought the metaverse is just gonna be um so there's a lot of different ecosystem popping up in the crypto space, right? But everyone's like um rotating, so they're just like selling off, like again to like this one project, right? And they rotate it to the next project, and they kind of like they keep rotating, so they probably buy and sell at the peak and kind of go into the next project, right? So it's kind of like playing musical chairs, but you kind of find out what's the new meta. So like you playing League of Legends, like you have to find out what's the new trending meta, right? A
Mhm.
champion, right? So I think when I explained it, I was like, oh, maybe the metaverse kind of like people are finding what's the new trend and they kind of ride the trend. And just like in like from what I've seen, I was like they always keep rotating, and I found it like very eerily suspicious. At the same time, I just like, okay, I'm just gonna follow what's the meta trend right now. And yeah, because it's just like you don't want to. I think for me, I just trying to play safe, but also don't want to hold my bags. And like for me, like in the beginning, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna hold Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm gonna hold it for the end of time and something like that, right? But I think like starting like end of last May, or not May, last July, I kind of was like, okay, I'm just gonna say, hey, everyone, like certain projects are blowing out, like Cardano went to $3 or $2 or something. That doesn't make sense. Like for me, it's like it has no value. Like for me, like it has no product. So, and then just like, all right, I'm gonna buy up every single layer one ecosystem. If that one blows up, any at least most of them is gonna blow up, right? So I'm testing on my thesis, right? And then I'm just like, all right. And then Solana really blew up, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that thesis kind of worked out. All right, anything that's like L1, whatever, it's gonna blow up, right? And then Avalanche blew up, Phantom blew up, and everyone's like writing these little L1 ecosystems right now. So it's just like, okay, that's like a playbook move kind of trending, right? And then now people in the crypto Twitter is like trending, like they're changing like different stories and and then you're like playing musical chair. It's like, all right, where's the next one? I want to find out what's the next project that I don't want to I want to be in, so no one knows yet. And yeah, it's funny. It's just kind of like, because you're finding the meta trend at the same time, which is like, okay, this is crazy.
Well, that's good because it just means you're doing your research. You're thoroughly checking what's hot, what's the trend right now, what's getting a lot of attention. Because like it it's a lot of people just look into crypto, like they look into Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's it. They don't really look into anything else. Maybe Dogecoin and Shiba, but they don't really know all the other currencies and what they're used for. They're just so focused on just getting those main ones out there that they know.
Yeah. I was just thinking like when ever since Doge blew up, I could have thought of like I should have just bought all dog coins and right. I think that would have been like the safest bet. You wouldn't like you just cashed out or I mean, I
Yeah.
never thought it like that, but I was just thinking back, it's like, oh yeah, I could have bought a dog coins, and Shiba would have been one of them that would blew up hard. Yeah.
Yeah, just I would just for those that are getting into it, I just say like just be careful trying to follow everyone else because a lot of people are just blindly going into the hype and a lot of them are like greed based. They're trying to like make that quick buck and then you see them like you see it drop and then you just see all these emotions. It's like you gotta like make sure you're understanding what you're getting into before you like put in that money. Because that's why so many people are like losing because they're just not doing enough research. Same with like, I don't know, I feel like day trading and all that. They're just so greed based. They don't like look into like why they're investing into it.
Yeah, I think for me, just like I had to keep my emotions in check as like a just like a trader, and also just like for me, like I'm a big believer, but at the same time I want to take a lot of risk off the table, right? So I think like if I have to recommend one thing if you're trading, is just always take profits, and just to make sure that you're in the safe side, that you're, I mean, there's a lot of volatility, right? So you have to expect there's going to be a lot of volatility compared to stocks. Like just I encourage, just like when you're up like 20%, just take profits. Or you're up 50%, just keep checking, at least take your initials out, right? Initial investments, and then continue just to take profits and be on the sideline. And then also, yeah, and then also just focus on what's let's just like just making sure that you have your capital allocation aside, right? That you're
Mhm.
not uh you're not gonna, you gotta have kept feelings in check that you that is gonna ride to the moon, right? Anything could be possible, right? I think like right now everyone, I mean, in this time of podcast, right, everyone's very bearish, so they're very negative because you know it crashed, it went up to 69K and it crashed down to like 40K, right? And like I told my younger my friends and everyone's like on like very like negative about it, and for me like I think it's the opportunity, but at the same time I need to wait for confirmation just to see like what's if the if 40K Bitcoin is gonna held up, so I don't want to like give any recommendations, but I just like I'm just gonna wait it out and see how it is gonna go. And I think just being patient and always taking profits, and that I think that's like the most two important skill to have, and just having no emotions, of course, as well, like being more logical, right? So it can go, I mean, it can go up or down or sideways, but at the same time, you gotta.
Okay.
So those are the three ways you can
Hey,
interpret that. But
that's some truth though, some great advice. Anything you like to wrap up or say before we end it? Quick little minute for you.
um, I mean, I think right now it's just like, I mean, though we talk about Pokemon and crypto, it's just I think it's like I want everyone just of course stay safe and just make the best out of this year, and it's just like this year's even though there's the pandemic happening, I just want everyone to be able to look in the bright side and just take opportunities if you can. Of course, stay safe, and also take care of your health, and it's important just to make sure you keep yourself in check, both physically and mentally, and you know just try to make the best out of this year. The year just started, so.
That was amazing. Great advice. Very inspirational. Dennis, it was great to have you. We talked a lot about Pokemon and crypto, and I think it's definitely helped somebody out there. Somebody that looks into this, they're gonna learn a lot. And maybe we've helped them get their first purchase of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it may be. Hopefully this helps somebody understand, everything that's going on there. Yeah, Dennis, thank you so much for joining the LTA show. It was a pleasure having you. Learned so much, and I hope to see you in multiple episodes, not just one, because I'm
Okay.
sure you got other things besides crypto and Pokemon that I just love to hear more about.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna end it. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day and happy 2022 for you.